So Holger, we're now at this inflection point where a number of vendors are all coming out concurrently, claiming they have persistent memory. You have storage systems vendors, NetApp, Dell EMC PowerMax, we have persistent memory, makes it faster, look at our advantages. You have server vendors, HP, we now have persistent memory. Everybody's claiming they have persistent memory. Question for you, just because you stuff persistent memory in a server, or you put it in the storage system, which is a target in the whole equation, how does that contrast to an engineered system where you've taken literally Oracle database code, compute, network, storage resources, engineered them together with the same team of developers? How does that compare?
Great question. First of all, persistent memory is revolutionizing the whole tiering, which used to be memory, flash, hard disk. Now we have a fourth tier in between of that, and that changes everything. But it's a tiering part. I'm not holding everything, all of my relevant data in persistent memory, so I still need to be cautious how I use this resource. And if I understand and have more intelligence about what to put in there, what will be more reused, what will help the overall performance of my system, because I have what you guys have, a chip-to-click stack, right, from the user click on top who's doing something like closing the books or running machine learning, and lots of people are doing this, or it's end of a quarter or whatever it is, and seeing what's happening and then putting the right information for overall performance in persistent memory, that of course gives you so much more visibility, not to mention what you said already, that you build the code for that, which realize that where any other vendor who doesn't know the load, is agnostic to this, has a much harder time to react.
And so when you look at a storage system, let's take the Dell EMC PowerMax. They recently announced that they said they put persistent memory inside of it. PowerMax 8000, I believe, is what they're referring to.
Persistent memory is there for everybody.
Right. Anybody could buy it. The question is how to utilize them. What are the results? So they're now claiming that a single rack will deliver approximately, I think it was 7 million or plus IOPS. Okay. And if you look at a Exadata X8M, it's in excess of 16 plus million IOPS. Key point is that's just the storage system. So they're quoting IOPS for only their equation, not the server that's going to be utilized in conjunction with that, not the networking, and those aren't SQL IOPS. Right. We're quoting SQL IOPS directly running Oracle database. So take us through, just because vendors insert persistent memory and they say we're faster, it's not an apples and apples comparison, and customers need to be cognizant that you can't compare a storage system with persistent memory to a completely integrated engineered system that's been co-engineered with hardware and software from the onset.
Correct. Well, persistent memory is going to help both, but if I'm able to use a persistent memory consistently across the whole stack, not just for storage, but from a networking perspective, from a cached query perspective, from popular query perspective, for indexes and so on, I'm going to have a leg up. It's not even a fair comparison.
Right. It's not a fair comparison. So when customers look and say, well, I just looked at this system from Dell EMC, I looked at the server from HP, they're only looking at essentially like a fourth of an engineered system. So they've sped up one element, which makes up the entire integrated whole.
Well, it's limited optimization that you can do if you only look at storage, if you only look at networking, if you only look at a compute farm as an example. Where persistent memory still will help you to run things faster, but you optimize on one of the ISO layers, you can't optimize for the whole part. And if you don't have the software anyway, you don't know what's coming at you.
So Nat, you can't compare from a business decision-making and operational standpoint, the isolated individual componentry of, say, a storage device that happens to have persistent memory inserted into it with that of an engineered system. It's not apples and apples, and customers need to look much deeper than just surface level numbers.
Correct.